On this episode of Classic Camper Base Camp, it wasn't long before everyone in the neighborhood said, "Douglas, what did you drag home and deposit in your driveway?"
Why, it's an early 60s Pathfinder, canned ham style. You want to take a look at her?
No, thank you, Pa. That canned ham looks a little overbaked for my likings.
First, let's take a closer look at the outside of this camper. Notice the white in the windows. No, those aren't curtains, but that's actually styrofoam board that was fitted in each window for insulation.
Looks good to me, Paul. Wait a minute. You're taking that out? Why?
Well, they'd burn it now, Sonny. I tell you, you need to have a little patience and just wait and see what I've got for you. Anyway, this camper was formerly used in the cold as a hunting shack.
On the rear, there was a pretty ugly wooden storage container sitting on the bumper. And on top of that, there were two red magnetic lights, which were the only lights that worked on the camper at that particular time. And, of course, one of my first projects was to make that long box on the bumper disappear. Now, to be honest, at this point, everything you do on a project like this will probably take 2 to 3 times longer than you expected.
Now, wait a minute there, Paul. Are you trying to encourage our viewers or discourage our viewers?
Dad, Bernard, I'm just trying to be honest with these people. I think they'd appreciate it.
Now, moving on to the front of the camper, you'll notice the barely visible original chevron V showing through the rustic paint job that's just below the center running lights. Before we take you inside, keep in mind this was a hunting shack, and the decor certainly reflects that. If you happen to be a Harley-Davidson fan, I'm sure you're going to absolutely love it. Shall we take a look?
I can hardly wait.
Now, as you come in the door, you'll notice the hole in the wall that's on the left.
That's where the original furnace would have been, but it appears that the hunters were using this crevice to store their rifles there. Now then, once you step inside, you can get a good look at the decor there. The deep dark black with the brilliant orange trimmings. Notice the screwed down counter extension board. And even the sink was painted that beautiful black color. Actually, in this picture, there's a black plastic tub sitting in the sink. As you can see, there's no need for a faucet because when you're roughing it in your hunting shack, you just need to bring some water jugs along. Notice there is an upper cabinet door missing, and there's no cook stove. I'm sure you'll want to check out what we did to refurbish in this area in our next video. Let's check out the bedroom now. You notice on the left side of the camper there are bunk beds, which would have worked well for the hunters. One thing we'll be talking about with this remodel is how it can be done on a budget. For instance, you may notice the nice 2x4s that the bunks are made out of.
And we'll show you how we put these to use later.
Here we see the right rear of the camper. Notice the square wooden framework on the floor. I believe this was a stand to put a porta potty on.
But Paul, why don't they just go the way nature intended? Couldn't they find a hollow log?
Notice the toilet paper dispenser on the wall. Then there's a plastic shelving unit, which I removed. On the bottom shelf, you'll see a plastic jug that was used to store water. Let's check out the dining area. Again, it's the Harley colors, including the black table, with the orange decorator dribblings. There were two other things that did not come with the camper, and that it would be the bench cushions and a refrigerator. Here you see a little preview of what's to come in our next video.
As my pa said, in our next episode, we're gonna go from discombobulation to recombobulation. And I'd like to invite you to get on the truck with us. Thank you for watching Classic Camper Base Camp.